All right, let's talk about the different types of delivery vehicles that you can use for your party rental business, and some of the advantages and disadvantages of each. Now, there may be more out there, but I'm going to talk about the big six. They are your pickup trucks, your cargo vans, your box trucks, your step vans, your open trailers, and your enclosed trailers. Now, probably the most common is the good old pickup truck, and obviously all the major automakers have their own version of this and their own style of this. And there are different types of pickup trucks. Some have longer beds, some have shorter beds. There's mid-size and full-size pickup trucks. There's crew cabs. There's just a whole kind of a myriad of whatever you want. But a pickup truck is a pickup truck and a pickup truck, and there are several advantages and disadvantages to each. First and foremost, on the advantage side, pickup trucks are a lot, probably one of the most maneuverable of all the vehicles out there, because they can get in and out of places. They're designed to handle rough terrain and things like that, and they have ample space in the bed for whatever you're trying to haul. At least if you're doing just a few units. Pickup trucks can be driven without any kind of special license or anything like that. So, that they kind of fit the mold across the board. Now, the problems that we have with pickup trucks is the fact that your pickup trucks can only hold a few inflatables at a time, between 2, 4, or 6, depending on how big the inflatables are and how big the bed on the truck is, plus all the accessories and things like that. So that causes a problem. The other thing is getting the units into and out of the pickup truck usually requires some kind of manual lifting or something like that. You can get lift gates for it, but it's kind of expensive and it doesn't really fit and it doesn't really look like right, and the whole 9 yards. So pickup trucks have the disadvantage of they're probably one of the hardest to load and unload. The cargo van, like the pickup truck, has lots of different variants depending on the manufacturer and the style that you get. There's high tops, low tops, long, short storage, and everything in between. There's even kind of a mini, they've come out with this mini version that's they call it a city version or something like that, where you can just kind of, it's almost like the size of a minivan. But the advantages to the cargo van is again, maneuverability is fairly decent, not quite as good as the pickup truck. Because usually they have a longer wheelbase and they can get stuck. And some of them are better than others. Some of them will have all-wheel drive. Some of them will have front-wheel drive. Stay away from the rear-wheel drive ones because they tend to get stuck, especially if it's empty or if there's not a lot of weight in the back. Second advantage is it's enclosed, so it's secure, and it's protected against the weather, so that's good. You can load your truck and leave it, or load your van and leave it overnight and not worry about somebody breaking into it or stealing the stuff off the back of it that's not secured. Some of the disadvantages of the cargo van is obviously the fact that it is a van, so visibility can be a problem. It's probably one of my favorite of the vehicles, simply because it has a lot of advantages and not a whole lot of disadvantages, other than the fact that they're a little loud, and they are hard to see in and out of when you're driving. So you're more prone to back into things or bigger blind spots. Need to kind of watch that, and make sure that you're not getting in a situation where it's costing you an accident or anything like that. The next one is the box truck. Box truck is like your U-Hauls or something like that. They're big, they're secure, they got tons of storage. Some of the disadvantages are that the gas mileage on these usually is not the best. Also, they have maneuverability problems. They don't get in and out of areas quite as easy as a pickup truck or a cargo van. They can be incredibly, bulky and hard to get into, driveways. Here we have driveways that may be wooded or longer, and they're not really designed for a vehicle that's larger like that. So it can cause a problem. Also, you can't really drive them into backyards or something like that. Through fences or even, if you have a double fence, sometimes it's hard to get them through there. So they really have a problem with, getting in and out of areas. But they do hold a lot of units at one time, so they're good for bigger events or something like that. Also, they have that loading problem. A lot of these have a ramp or a lift gate that makes it a little bit easier, but if you don't utilize that, or if you can't utilize that, it can be a little more difficult to get the pieces in and out of. So yeah, kind of have to watch that. Also, if you get into the bigger weights, sometimes there may be some restrictions on which roads that you can go on and deliver on, so you need to kind of be careful with that. 15,000 pounds here in Georgia. It's 15,000 pounds, and you can't go on any, some of the back roads without being, ticketed for taking commercial vehicles on roads that are not licensed for that. The step van or the bread truck, pretty much the same thing as a box truck. These are your UPS trucks or your FedEx trucks, the ones that you're used to seeing when they drive around. They're a little more maneuverable, and they have plenty of space on the inside. Again, they kind of have the disadvantages of the van, and they're hard to see in and out of. Also, they don't get into tight spaces very well, like backyards or narrow driveways. So those kind of things you need to kind of watch of. They're good. Most of them are made for commercial purposes, so they're rough and tumble and tough and the whole 9 yards. But again, they have those drawbacks. They can be secured. They can't keep the weather off your stuff, so those are some definite advantages, and they can carry a lot of equipment. But again, you need to watch the neighborhoods that you go into. The last two are your trailers. The enclosed trailer, again, excellent for keeping your stuff secure and keeping it dry and out of the weather. The problem with trailers, and both of these trailers have the exact same problem, is that maneuverability is hard to get into some of the drives because you have to turn around, and sometimes there's not a place to turn around, so then you're stuck trying to maneuver backwards or forwards. It takes a little more planning when you have a trailer to know that you're going to do it, and you may also have to have a situation where you carry the equipment a little further because you can't get into certain areas. The enclosed trailer is a little better because, like I said, it keeps the weather off of your equipment, and it can be secured. The open trailer is a little more accessible, but it also has the problem of being open, and your stuff can get wet or can have weather or can be stolen. So those kind of things are all the disadvantages on that. I have literally used every single one of these vehicles in the 20 years that I've been doing this, and each have their place. I personally like the cargo vans the best right now in kind of the late stages of where I'm at with the business. They allow for a lot more to be transported. It's secure. It keeps it dry, and at the same time, you still have the maneuverability. A good size cargo van, one of the bigger ones, has almost as much storage space as a small box truck, and none of the problems. So that's the reason that I pick it. We also use a lot of pickup trucks. As you can see, I'm driving one now, and we do a lot of videos where we're delivering, you know, 1 or 2 units in these. Again, my biggest problem with that is that loading and unloading. It can be a problem sometimes, especially if you're by yourself. So if you have the bigger pieces, it definitely can be heavy. So those are the vehicles. If you guys would comment down below what you use and what you like about it, and you know, let's have a discussion about that. Also, like and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the next video.